Hey everybody, this is Grace, and I've been talking about people over the year, that over the years I've seen them online doing basically like e-begging. There's some kind of con game scammers, and I'm not talking like the ones you hear on your telephone, no, I'm doing that. The ones that get online and they find some way of getting their audience to pay for them for whatever it is that they want. That some of them go and say, oh, I got a health condition. One of them was really bad. And this goes over years. I've seen it. Well, I had my first computer in 1982. So, yeah, but I've seen it plenty of years. Okay, and they find different ways, really, like I said, to get people to pay, people who are watching them to pay for whatever it is they want. Like one of them was, she had a radiator was out for her mother, things like this. And then they see that it's that people actually will do it, and they become people who rely on that. Okay, I'm gonna sit here wrap this video and do this rest of this video. But yeah, I've done this over years, online on YouTube, about once a year for the past 10 years. On my original channel, it'll be 11 years in August. Okay, so that I've had the channel, I've been making videos on that channel, will be 11 years in August. So over these years, I've have more than one channel, and but another one, I found reason to make videos across all this time, about these people, because some of them, there are so many names for it, like E-Beggars, what is it called? I can't even remember. Grifters. See, I never heard that one until more recent years. But, swindlers, con artists, sorry about that, con artists, scammers. Well, there's so many names. Some of them are funny to me. Kind of like they came from my mother's time, or maybe her mother's time. And Flim Flam or something like that. Yeah, and on and on. But the ones that really, to me, there are other things people can actually do. But what they say so much is that they'll use, like, say they're Christians, when what they're doing is not at all Christian-like. Because, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I meant to say, okay, this is about in the hustlers. Okay, hustlers. Now, when I was young, hustler, the first time I ever heard of a different way of saying, using definition of hustler was people who shoot pool. I knew the other ways, but shooting pool, they were called hustlers, and that's what they did, is they conned people into coming in, act like they didn't really know how to play, and when they really were really good at it. But, the other thing, when I was growing up, there was also the dance called the hustle. Yeah, it was a long time ago. But, these days people use the word hustle kind of like if it's a good thing. That's kind of new, because the hustle has in my lifetime never meant a good thing, unless you were telling somebody, and it's not even a good thing, it's just a thing, like trying to get somebody to hurry up and let's go. It's kind of like hustle. Come on, hustle, get a move on, that kind of thing. Which is not good or bad, but it's just, come on, hurry. But nowadays it's like, oh, they're working hard and they're doing as much as they can to, this and that. But if you read the definition, it'll say, quite often it's not just that. Quite often they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing in order to make it to hustle. So you can try to change it to where to hustling is something good, but I don't think it's going to get there. Especially when they try to make it sound like they're doing something good and it's all good. And then they have this like twinkle in their eyes, you know what I'm saying? And they kind of smirk. Like when it's on video or something, they kind of smirk. And there's this twinkle in their eyes. Some might even wink, raise an eyebrow, whatever it is. And they just prove that, no, they're not doing something good. And then turn around and say, now I'm a Christian and no. Okay, I cut some out of that clip. But basically, you know, hustlers. They would do anything that's needed to just to make some extra little money. Now, the ones that I've seen that do it online quite often, as I've mentioned in these other past videos, you know, besides the thing about saying they're Christian, is that they'll make up things about their, whatever worked for them once, they're going to expand on it. Or if they know what has worked for other people or what people are asking them, you know, like their audience, doesn't have to be subscribers, it's just their audience, you know, will say, oh, well, maybe you need to take better care. Maybe it's stress. So they think, oh, stress might be a thing. So they start talking about stress. And then somebody says, oh, you better be careful because it might cause you this health problem. And they go, oh, I'm going to look that up. And they look it up and they start saying, oh, they have this problem. You see what I'm saying? Or they find somebody who's actually having those health problems like me and isn't scamming because, you know, I've been on 10 years and I have no such thing as PayPal and all those other stuff. There's no way to even contact me unless you leave a comment on a video. So no email up there, none of that stuff. Now, I know better than tempt fate. I say that every time. So I'm not saying that I never would, but 10 years, come on, almost 11. So never done it. But anyway, like I said, I don't tempt fate. Like something drastic, why do I say drastic? Something really, really bad happening. Oh, there's some kids playing in the park. It's so cute. The way they were, oh, yay, we're here at the park. Anyway, so, I mean, whatever they have to do, they'll do it. They have no scruples. There's another word I could use. Some of them, if their audience say stuff like, oh, I just love how you have these good comebacks. Okay. Quite often there's snarky, snarly, just sarcastic, sardonics, or whatever. You know, like a real sour puss used to be an old-fashioned term. Just that sour look on their face and entitled like you wouldn't believe. And some people just like that. They think it's so cute, so dramatic to see somebody acting like that. And then so the person who's acting like that, or is that, might not be an act, they just do it more. Okay, because that's winning their audience over. And that's what their audience wants to see, is them being all smart mouth back at these people, that people, and that people owe them something. Okay, and I've also mentioned some of the things that they do. You think that they're, you know, that they're playing for their audience, you know, and trying to keep, and they are, but then they'll do stuff like act as though their audience is just downright stupid. Okay, because one of the things I've seen recently was someone really was acting as though their audience was stupid. I mean, I've seen this before recently too, because it happens quite often. It's like they're trying to pull the wool over their audience's eyes, but right there on camera, they're saying things that the audience has to be. So many of them do see it, and they're the ones who start, you know, calling them on the carpet. But some of them don't see it. Some of them think, oh, it's just the stupid ones. And we cannot blame the victim, because these are master manipulators. You know, haven't many of us been at some point in our life, and even the terminology is wrong, because it's blaming the victim when somebody says, you've been fooled. And I have to watch myself with that too. Because really, they're master manipulators. They know how to manipulate. That's how they do it. That's their con. Okay, I tend to cut it off whenever there are any kids that might get in it. So I don't put other people's kids in my videos. But anyway, and plus over here, somebody has, what are those dogs called? the ones that are poodles mixed with, you know, they got a little brown color. What is it? It's a Labrador? Or what is it? And they got the fluffy hair, and it's brown. They have 2 of them over there. They're so cute. But anyway, we just started fostering a new dog, by the way. We're not sure about if we keep it or not, but we're fostering it. It was a rescue dog. So anyway, get back to this. Yeah, my voice wouldn't keep going out too. But yeah, you know, they will do anything. That even insulting their audience. And it's just amazing, the whole big old game. And then there's another part. I want to do a whole separate video about that. Is that they start doing this weird thing of, on the one hand, they'll make a big deal out of nobody's going to tell me what I'm going to do on my channel. Now that was so common, so very common. And they'll whatever it is that somebody has said, hey, you know, might it be just a constructive criticism to say, hey, you know, when you do that and say that and you get real loud like that, or you just keep going on and on and on and on, you know, whatever it is, like hitting a certain note, like when you're singing or something, and you're singing, why are you singing? Or, you know, like they're tapping on something, they just keep going and going, you know, when they're adults and stuff like that. And they say, you know, that's kind of a little much. Somebody's trying to say, hey, you know, you got egg on your face or whatever. But no, they're going to do it every time like a child. Okay, I'm going to drive around again. But, you know, it's quite childish for somebody to, if somebody says it, say, hey, you know, someone in my audience suggested that was a little irritating. Let's take a vote, you know, this kind of thing. Let's vote. And how many people find that irritating too? You know, something, or just ignore it. There's always that, you know, or just block, delete the person if you think it's the true troll. And some of it, you would think that the person making the video would know that that's not something good to do. Like, I was really shocked, and these people stopped totally. It was people who were doing, back up a little bit here. No. Anyway, the people who were doing food delivery, and they were doing something that was really gross with hygiene, and their audience was saying, wow, why are you doing that? You know, that's so, you know. And it was a couple, married couple, and the guy would just, you know, come back with, that's just how it is, and that's going to happen. You know, really. But really, I think the pressure just got so much against them, because I think more and more of their audience kept saying, yeah, you know, things like putting her hand underneath her shirt and scratching her pit. Yeah. And she's delivering stuff to people. Whoa, gross. And that wasn't all. Okay, you know, and people, the pressure, people say, hey, And there's some people who need to be told, hey, you're gross. I don't want to see, I'm not watching you because that's gross. Is that what, you know, you do it on your own. But when you're touching somebody else's property, gross. I mean, you think about people going to a store like that, where that's gross. I mean, seriously. Oh, anyway, you get what I'm saying. Okay, I think the other thing, I don't know why my car just kind of set itself off. But the other thing, I think I did say I want to make a separate video about it. Because, yeah, after all I say, yeah. Anyway, somebody's irritating me. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'll talk to you on in another video.